told almost all dialogue between Sarvam Bhattacharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you should know that in this world, mostly Indian Pandits and learned scholars, they follow Shankar Vedanta in the idea that Supreme Brahma is only knowledge. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Satyam, Jnanam, Anandam Brahma. He is Ananda Swarup. He is knowledge. But really this is wrong. Mahaprabhu told that he is Ananda and also Anandamaya. In Brahma Sutra, Vyasa is told Anandamayo Abhyata. You should do bhakti to Anandamaya. Though he is Ananda, but he is also reservoir of Ananda. Not only Ananda. He is Gyan, but he is also Jnani. He can give Gyan to others also. So he is Jnani. So he is not Nirakar, separate formless. He is like Supreme Lord, Krishna's to Bhagavan Swami and other things is told. Also you told, Jiva is Brahma, soul is Brahma, Sarvam Khalitam Brahma, Tattvam Asi Brahma, Tattvam Asi, you are also all Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi, I am also Brahma. Sarvam Khalitam Brahma, in this whole world, what we see, all is Brahma. Mahaprabhu told, these are not actually Mahavakya, prominent Vakya of Brahma Sutra, Vedas. Prominent Mahavakya is Om. And Om means Krishna, Supreme Lord. Krishna is who in Srimad Bhagavad told, he has told all. Ete Janskala Pursa Krishna. Oh Bhagyam, oh Bhagyam. Paramananda Purna Brahma. How do you explain that he has no form, no quality? He is very merciful. He, Supreme Lord Brahma, is not merciful. Then what is the need of worshipping him? No need at all. If he cannot do anything, then what is gained from him? No need of such a Brahma. Also he told, oh, Shruti is Praman. First Praman is Shruti. Praman? Evidence. We know that our stool, urine, our bones after death are very impure. But Ved told Sankha. Sankha is consel. Oh, it is bone. And also cow dung and cow urine. Oh, all very pavitra. And we take this. Even we do abhishek of Krishna by Gobar and everywhere we have counsel in temples everywhere. So these are pure. So Shruti is telling. You are not telling Shruti. You are doing Kalpanik Pyakhya. Twisting the meaning, not Abhidha, but Lakshana. Not Abhidha, but not direct. Indirect. Especially, Jivas are not Brahma. So many examples of Veda. John Marcus, okay? Joto Vaivani Putani, Jayante, Jena Jatani, Avisham Vishanti, Tadvi, Brahma. From whom this world has come. From in the end to whom this world will go. Who is protecting and nursing this whole world. He has 7 samples. Karta, Karma, Kriya, Karta, Karma, Karta, Karma, Karana, Adhikarana. Means Bhagavan has created this world. The world is in Bhagavan. This world is only for Krishna. So many 7 Karta he is here. How he can be separate, formless, without any quality? Also, if Sarvam Khalu Idam is Brahma, means everything in this world, what we see, if it is Brahma, then how world can be mithya, false? We have first told, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, how you can tell this? So this is not. And if you are telling that all jivas are Brahma, then that Aham Brahmasmi, you are Brahma, Sarvam Khalitam Brahma, then you should know that Mahabhakti is only one. And these are Pradeshik ones. Pradeshik means partly. Pradeshik. Not a second, not prominent. Esha Anu Atma. In Mundaka Upanishad, that is said, Atma is Anu, but Param Brahma is Viku. Jiva is Anu, so it can be covered with Maya. And Brahma is Mayapati, the master of how they can be both. Especially Baladasya Saddha Kalpitasya Cha Bhago Jiva Sapikya Sacha Anantaya Kalpate. Baladasya Bhagasya Brahma Brihattat Grihanatva. Oh, in this world, he is Brihat. Brihat means great. Whole world is in 1/4 of Brahma. Only one. So lakhs and lakhs Brahmans and Brahmans, where is he? One. And it's like that. Brahma is also Jiva is part and parcel of Brahma, coming from Tatasasa. He can be covered with Maya. But you tell it that Brahma and Maya, Jiva are same. Jai Koher, Donde tar jo. Maya Jivis, Maya was. Those who are telling like this, Maya gives him punishment, so you should understand. And also it had been told, Jivo Parma Mar Hansa. Jiva is minute and is part and parcel of Brahma. Gita. Mamai Vanso. Jivaloke. Jivaloke. Sanatana. Jivis. So many thousands and lakhs uncountable. And Jiva is answer, part and parcel of Brahma in Gita. And also Krishna is not in this vision without Shakti. He told, Natasya karyam karnam chavidyati, natamat samasya vikasya vishyati. Prana Shakti vidhai. Jiva Shakti, Maya Shakti, Chit Shakti, Ladini Shakti, Sambit Shakti, Samdhini Shakti, so many Shaktis are. So in this, he explained so that we raised so many questions. But Mahaprabhu cut out his all arguments. And then he knew that, oh, he is Krishna. Then he fell flat in his feet and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed him, oh, first Chaturbhuj Roop, then Krishna Roop, and also it is said that Shadbhuj Roop, Krishna Roop, Ram Roop, and Mahaprabhu combined all that. And then he became high class of Vaishnava. He took this law, Bhakti Padesh Adhaya he told me, Mukti Padesh Adhaya Bhav. Mahaprabhu said, you need not tell this. What is in Srimad Bhagavad Gita is okay. Mukti Pade means Mukti in the lotus feet of Bhakti. So Mukti Pade. Oh, then he told, Prabhu, I want to know the meaning of Atma Ramasya Valyo. Mahaprabhu told, first you should explain. Then he explained in 9 ways. Mahaprabhu told, you are Prajapati. No one can explain. Then Sadham, he told, also there are some more meanings. And then he told 18 kinds of explanation. And then he told, oh, without Krishna Supreme Brahma, anyone cannot explain all these.
Even without touching his any meaning, who he did as before 9, not touching any meaning of him and did completely did.
This way, because after that he became very close. Mahaprabhu told him, oh, you know Rastattva Bhakti? Oh, I don't know. I first used to Narayana Prabhu. Joke with him that he does not do anything. But now I am realizing high class of Rasik Tattva Bhakti. You should go, if you will go to south, you must meet him. Gaur Praman. After this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Nityananda Prabhu and others, my brother Vishwambarah has left world and he has become Vishwarup and he has taken sannyas. But for so long I have not received any news. I want to go to Dakshin, South India to search him. But I will go alone. Not anyone will go. Then they requested that they Brahman Bala, Nam, Kala Krishna Das, they sent with him and he went. He went in south, so many he saw temples and here and there. Then he went to Rajmahendri, Kabul, where Ramanand was governor of all that land, South India, the governor of Maharaj Pratap Rudra. And he made with Raja. What dialogue between them, how they made, begin.
ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. So this narration of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, as Srila Gurudev has been beautifully leading us through all the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. So as we heard, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was actually a proponent of Mayavad philosophy of Shankaracharya, and he converted him into a very great Vaishnava. Now Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he knew only the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He completely gave up any of his leanings toward the Mayavad philosophy of Shankaracharya. And as Gurudev said, he understood now that there was one personality named Sri Ramananda Roy who lived in Godavari, on the banks of Godavari River in South India. And he was a governor, and he had a very high government position. But actually he was a very great, learned Vaishnava in all Bhakti Tattva, all Rasa Tattva. So previously Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, because he was influenced by Mayavad philosophy, he could not appreciate Ramananda Roy. But after he became converted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, now he understood how exalted position was Ramananda Roy. So therefore he also suggested to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that when you go on your tour in South India, you should meet with Ramananda Roy. Because now Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya understood the internal moods of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he understood his identity, and he understood that now he wants to relish and taste the association of the highest pure Rasik Vaishnavas, so that he can dive deep in the moods and bhavs of Srimati Radharani. So therefore he suggested to him, it will be very good that you will meet Ramananda Roy. So in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's touring throughout South India, he came there to the banks of Godavari. And when he came there, it was just before the evening time. And also, as he was sitting there taking his bath, finishing his evening bath, then a great procession came there. There were so many Brahmins chanting Vedic mantras, and so many horses were there, and so many military band, marching band, very great procession. And they were carrying palanquin, and on that palanquin, very finely dressed, was this royal personality, Sri Ramananda Roy. So Ramananda Roy came there at the banks of Godavari to also take his ceremonial bath. And from a distance, when he came, he saw, his eyes saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this sannyasi, sitting there. He had never met him before. But when he glanced over and he saw this very effulgent, extremely, exquisitely beautiful form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Roy, immediately his heart became so attracted to him. And he approached him. And when he approached him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also rose up. And the two of them embraced one another. And in this embrace, all ecstatic symptoms appeared on their bodies. And they became completely overwhelmed in transcendental love. Actually, the internal identity of Sri Ramananda Roy is none other than Sri Krishna's dearmost Sati, Vishakha, who is always assisting Radha and Krishna in their pastimes. But appearing within this world, now she has come in the form of Ramananda Roy to assist Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in entering deeply, deeply within all Rasa Tattva and relishing the moods of Srimati Radharani. So at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that the people, all of those dignitaries and official persons who were accompanying Ramananda Roy, they misunderstood. They could understand that this personality, this sannyasi, was something extraordinary. They could see that the exchange between them was one of very great divine affection, but they were not on a higher platform to understand this exchange, so therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he checked his internal moods, and he also checked his external symptoms, so they would not be so bewildered. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, now he began to converse with Ramananda Rai, and they explained to one another their background and their family background. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told to him that I have been sent here by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and I want so much to hear from you the divine transcendental descriptions of what is the ultimate goal of life, what is the sadhya, the highest attainment for every living being. So it will be my great honor that I can meet with you here again. And then Ramananda Roy, actually he was playing the role of a royal personality, but technically he was performing the activities of a Shudra. So Ramananda Roy was feeling himself very, very humble in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because in those days, for a sannyasi to embrace a person from the Shudra class, it was unheard of practically. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who did not see Ramananda Roy in this way, and in embracing him, he told, I feel that I have become purified by your embrace. So then both of them, they agreed that they would again meet there on the following day, and in that place they would have confidential discussions, confidential talks about Sri Krishna. So they both parted and went to their respective places. And on the next day, when they returned to that place, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again met Ramananda Roy. And they began the very great discussion, which in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is practically the pinnacle of all transcendental dialogues and conversations. Sri Ramananda Roy Samvad. And actually Ramananda Roy, he was becoming like the teacher of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the speaker, and Mahaprabhu was listening. But Ramananda Roy understood that actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is like the vast ocean that has so many minerals and pearls deep, deep, deep within it. And Ramananda Roy was like the rain cloud, because the rain cloud receives water from the ocean. And then, again, that rain cloud will pour the water back onto the ocean waters. The same water from which it has taken their water, again it pours it back. But something special happens when it pours it back. Why? Because in particular constellations like Swati Nakshatra, when that water falls upon the ocean at a particular time, it produces beautiful pearls, beautiful gemstones. So in this way, Ramananda Roy, actually he was receiving everything from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he understood that actually Mahaprabhu is speaking through him. He is just like a puppet. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to hear from Ramananda Roy, because within his heart were these special moods. And therefore, Ramananda Roy, taking the water like the cloud and raining it again down on the ocean of Mahaprabhu, now he illuminated all these transcendental subject matters of Bhakti Rasa Tattva, and he showered Mahaprabhu with this divine knowledge of Srimati Radhika and her deep moods. But he began the discussion with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with a certain question that Mahaprabhu posed to him. And he said, I want to understand what is sadhya, what is the ultimate goal of life. Please give me some shlokas. Please quote to me from Shastra so that I can understand what is the goal of life. And Sri Ramananda Roy, he first of all began to explain that by the process of Varnashram Dharma, the Supreme Lord will become pleased. What is Varnashram Dharma? Varnashram means the 4 orders of life in the human society which have been created by the Supreme Lord, the divisions of human society of Varnas and Ashramas. Varnas means the divisions of the social order. And people according to their qualities, according to their guna and their karma, their qualities and their activities, they will fit into one of these 4 divisions of human society. Brahmana, the learned, intelligent class. Kshatriyas, the warriors and statesmen. Vaishyas, the mercantile class. And Shudras, the laborer class. And from the spiritual side of human society, the 4 orders of spiritual life, ashramas, are there. So that gradually the human beings can go step by step through the stages of brahmacharya, student life, then some entering into grihastha life, household life, then vanaprastha life, finally retiring after household life has been completed, family is raised and so forth, and finally taking the 4th order, 4th ashrama, sannyas, renunciation of all material connections in this world. So this system, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna states himself, Chaturvarnyam maya shrishtam guna karma vibhagasha. I have created this Chaturvarnyam, all these 4 divisions of human society. So Ramananda Roy began by saying that Varnashama Charavata Purushena Parakkuman Vishnu Aradhyate Panta Nanya Tattosha Karanam. He said that this Varnashram system, it has been created by Vishnu himself, Supreme Lord. If human beings will live their lives dutifully according to this Varnashram system, then what does it do? Vishnu Aradhyate Panta. This system will be a type of worship of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. They are obedient to his desires, to his will. They are living their lives according to the Varnashram divisions. So therefore, they will be pleasing Vishnu. Vishnu Aradhyate Panta Nanyat Tattosha Karanam. And aside from this, if human beings do not follow this, then there is no other way to please the Supreme Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he heard this explanation from Ramananda Roy. And then he replied to Ramananda Roy, what you are telling, I consider that it is external. Eho bahya. This is external what you're telling. Why? Because this is not pertaining to the direct engagement of the soul, the Atma. But this is on the material platform, pertaining to the physical body within this world and the duties that are connected with the body within this world. Of course, everyone must live within this world. Everyone must execute some occupational duties to maintain their life within this world. But this is not direct. This is actually external, because it is not touching directly on the relationship between the soul and the Supreme Soul in its pure form. So he said, Eho Bhaya, this is external. Age kaho ar. Please speak further. Develop this principle further. And then at that time, Ramananda Roy, he quoted another verse from Bhagavad Gita, in which Krishna is suggesting to Arjuna and to all souls, Yat karoshi yadashnashi yajjuhosi dadasi yat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva mad arpanam. Here he's saying, whatever you do, yat karoshi, whatever you do, you should do it as an offering to me, mad arpanam, for an offering to the Supreme Lord. Your activities in life should be given as an offering to the Lord. Yadashnashi, whatever you're eating, all foodstuffs that you have to prepare daily, all foods that you will be offering, they should be given to me. Yajjuhoshi, whatever kinds of yagyas, sacrifices that you are performing, they should be done as an offering to me. Dadasiyat, whatever types of charity that you are giving, donations in your life, you should also give that as an offering to me. Yattapasyasi, whatever austerities that you have to perform in your life, you should also do that for me. Yattapasyasi konteya tat kurushvaman arpanam. For my sake, this should all be done. So, in this way, Ramananda Roy proceeded to another level, which was somewhat more direct, because now the soul is beginning to, in all phases of his life, have some direct connection with the process, the principle of bhakti. Not pure principle of bhakti, but some connection with bhakti. Karma mishra bhakti. Taking the karma that we are already doing in this world, the activities that we're already doing, and connecting that and offering that to the Supreme Lord. So in this way, as Krishna is recommending in Bhagavad Gita, the conditioned souls within this world can gain their connection of their soul with Him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he heard this statement by Ramananda Roy, and then again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, what you have told now, it is bahya, it is external. Still, I am not satisfied to hear this as the ultimate goal of life. Age kohoar, you should continue to expand and tell further. You should develop this whole conception further than this. And then at that time, Ramananda Roy spoke. Then he quoted one more verse from Bhagavad Gita by Bhagavan Sri Krishna, where in the final teaching, at the end of the entire Gita, Lord Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Prityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishyami Mahashuchaha. So here, Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling all Jiva souls that everything that you think is your dharma within this world, all of the responsible duties that you have, your dharma of your body, your family, your social dharmas, all of these things, you should abandon them. You should abandon, and you should only surrender to me alone. Mam ekam sharanam braja. Here Krishna is mentioning the principle called sharanagati. Sharanagati means surrender. So that sharanagati principle of giving oneself in surrender and taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, this is the process of beginning to approach the Supreme Lord. Without this surrender, absolute surrender of the heart to the Supreme Lord, it is not possible to enter into the stage of pure devotional service, bhakti yoga. So therefore Krishna is telling to Arjuna at the end of Gita that you should now abandon all your other varieties of religious duties and all your other dharmas and just surrender to me. And also, you should not fear anything. You shouldn't fear that by doing this, there's going to be sinful reactions that you'll have to suffer. No, because why? I will protect you. Sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami. I will personally accept responsibility for you and liberate you. So, Krishna is recommending and suggesting that we should become surrendered souls at His lotus feet. So this is further development of the principle of bhakti. But yet, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he heard this, Again he commented, Eho bahya. This I consider to be external. It is not directly coming to the level of the pure devotion of the soul for the Supreme Soul. It is only an introductory phase, a prerequisite for entering into bhakti. So therefore, you should speak further and develop further from here. And then Ramananda Roy, he told another verse from Gita, where Krishna speaks about the principle of Gyan Mishra Bhakti. Gyan Mishra Bhakti, it means that jnana, knowledge, is being mixed with bhakti. Gyan Mishra Bhakti.
Just coming back, just going for 2 minutes. Is everyone remain seated?
So, he spoke the verse from Bhagavad Gita. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nashochati Nakanshati Samak Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Lavate Param. So here, Krishna is telling, so when a person comes to the stage of realizing that he is not this physical material body, now he comes to the level of realization of Atma. This is called Brahma Bhuta stage. Just like we heard in the explanations that Srila Gurudev gave about the conversation with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And the word Brahma has been used again and again, because Brahma means the supreme absolute truth. So every jiva soul within this world, he is also Brahma. Why? Because he is part and parcel of the supreme Brahma. The mistake that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was making was to confuse that the jiva within this world is actually one with that supreme Brahma, that they are one non-different identity. But when someone comes to the stage of realization of the true nature of the soul as being transcendental and spiritual, Brahma Bhuta. So Krishna is describing here in this verse, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochati Nakamshati. Now, that person comes to the level of realizing that this soul within this world has nothing to do with this physical body and with this material elements of this world. So, realizing the nature of the soul, he becomes prasanatma. Prasanatma means very satisfied in the atma, in the soul. And in that condition, na sochati, na kankshati. No conditions within this world, no situations that arise within his life can cause him lamentation. He doesn't lament for anything. And also, he never hankers after anything within this world. Nasochati nakamshati. And in that transcendental stage of Brahma Bhuta realization, sama sarveshu bhuteshu, he realizes that all living beings within this world, whatever species of life that they are in, whether they're in the body of a tree, the body of an animal, the body of an insect, the body of a human being, he realizes sama sarveshu bhuteshu. He sees all living beings completely equally. So Sri Krishna says, when someone comes to that stage of transcendental knowledge, this is called divya gyan, spiritual knowledge, then in that stage, he attains my bhakti, mad bhaktim labate param. He attains my supreme bhakti. So Krishna says, mad bhaktim labate param. He attains para-bhakti to me. What is para-bhakti? Para-bhakti means that bhakti is now without material tinges. It is not motivated by karma, by jnana, by yoga, and so forth. But yet, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in hearing this verse from Ramananda Roy, he considered this again to be external. He says, Ehobahya, this is still external. Age kohoar, I want you to develop it further now. Why did he say this? Because in that stage, there is mixture of jnana. Jnana Mishra Bhakti. And this mixture of jnana has the tendency to aspire towards liberation from this material world. Therefore, the bhakti is not absolutely pure. And even in that stage of Jnana Mishra Bhakti, one cannot understand all the divine truths of Bhakti Rasa. Still, there is some limitation. So at that time, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, oh, this is external, you should speak further, then Ramananda Roy spoke the next verse. Yeah, now Ramananda Roy quoted another verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is spoken by Lord Brahma. And in that verse, Lord Brahma has spoken about Gyan Shunya Bhakti. That means pure devotion to the Supreme Lord that is devoid of Gyan. What does this mean, devoid of Gyan? It doesn't mean that he has no knowledge. No, but his bhakti is not affected by the tendency to try to understand the Supreme Lord. Why? Because the Supreme Absolute Truth is absolutely achintya, inconceivable, unlimited, infinite. So Lord Brahma said, Jnane prayasa mudapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya varikam stane stita shutikakam tanuvan manovir ye prayasur jita jitopya sitais trilokyam. Now he said, this endeavor to understand and fully know the Supreme Absolute Truth, it should be given up. And namanta eva, one should surrender to the process of hearing. Jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam. One should constantly be in the association of the pure, realized Vaishnavas, who are, from their lips, a transcendental stream of nectar of the descriptions of the Supreme Lord is constantly flowing. So in that association, one should remain there constantly. Stane stita shrutikatan tanuvan manovir. He should serve that personality who is giving Harikatha. He should serve the Harikatha with his tanuvan manovir. That means with his body, with his mind, with his words. And if a person accepts this process of hearing transcendental Harikatha from the lips of the pure Vaishnavas, then what will be the result of this? Lord Brahma says, Ye prayaso jita jitopyasi tais trilokyam. In the whole material universes, from the highest planet down to the lowest, the Supreme Lord is the topmost personality, and no one can conquer and control him. He is the supreme controller. Therefore, he's called Ajita. Ajita means he can never be conquered, can never be controlled. But now, Lord Brahma is saying, if someone develops this Gyan Shunya Bhakti, this devotion which is devoid of the tendency to try to know the Supreme Lord, but only wants to reciprocate with the Supreme Lord on the platform of pure devotion, then for that person, that Ajita, that unconquerable Supreme Lord, now he becomes Jita, he becomes conquered by that devotee's love and devotion. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he appreciated this statement. And he said, oh, this is very good. But now I want you to develop this point further. And then so many shlokas came after that.
Now Prem Prem should continue.
Jnanatimarandhasya Jnanandanasalakya Chakshurunmritam dena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Guruvai Gaurachandraya Karikaye Tudahame Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah. First of all, after my sustained Dandavat Puspan, my heart like flowers thousands of times, but the lotus feet of Asmari Parvarad no Guru Pada Padma, Om Vishnu Pada Shtot Rasata Sisimat, Rupan Visharivaya Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, after my pranam, at the lotus feet of my Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara, and after my pranam to Ananya Chaitanya Parthan and all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas. Is it okay? Okay. So, we have been first in Navadvip Dham, then very mysteriously, Srila Gurudev transported us transcendentally to Jagannath Puri Dham, and now we have arrived on the bank of Godavari in South India. And Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Padmanabh Maharaj has described the beginning part of this wonderful conversation between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Roy Ramananda. The question that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has put forward is extremely important. What is sadhya, the goal of life? If we don't know what is the goal of life, then we cannot decide how to attain it, or which direction we should move, how we should use this valuable form of human life. And Roy Ramananda is giving answers to these questions. So we have heard how Roy Ramananda suggested Dharma Acharana, the performance of Dharma. Mahaprabhu said it's external. Ramananda Roy suggested Karmapana, offering the fruit of one's work. Mahaprabhu said it is external. So Roy Ramananda, he suggested the karma tyag, give up all karmas. Mahaprabhu said external. Ramananda Roy suggested Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Mahaprabhu said external. And then Roy Ramananda suggested Jnana Shunya Bhakti, Bhakti not mixed with the desire to even understand the opulences of the Supreme Lord. At that point, Mahaprabhu said, that is okay, not external. It is evo bahya, it's external. Evo high, it's alright, but go a little further. Why? Because from the beginning, each suggestion put forward by Ramananda Roy had something missing. The soul has a very beautiful transcendental form and a particular special eternal relationship with Sri Krishna. So the activities of the soul are the activities of his eternal and beautiful loving relationship with Sri Krishna. So that form of the soul, that nature of the soul, that service of the soul is coming from its swarup, its spiritual form. So because the suggestions given by Roy Ramananda were not swarup anubandhi, that means they have no relation with the specific form, the specific identity and services to Sri Krishna. Therefore Mahaprabhu said, this is external. Because they are not swarup anubandhi, in connection with the true, eternal identity of the living entity. So finally, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Ramananda Roy suggested hearing Harikatha from the lips of a pure devotee, then Mahaprabhu, he was somewhat satisfied. Because if a person does not know who am I, by hearing Harikatha from the lips of a pure devotee, that transcendental knowledge will awaken in his heart. So this verse is very beautiful. It describes the process for realizing one's spiritual identity. But it does not explain what is the ultimate goal of life. How to attain it, but not what is the ultimate goal. When you have gone through your stages of sadhana and come up to praying is attained by hearing. But that praying is of different types. So Mahaprabhu said, it's okay because it's bhakti. But you have not really given any detailed explanation of sadhya, the goal of life. So please, Adi Kewar, go on. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Ramananda Rai to continue, Sri Ramananda Rai said, Nano pachara krita pujana martha bandhu harnaiva bhakta hridayam vidritam syat. That it means, if a devotee will take sadhopachara, 16 types of paraphernalia, when a devotee is doing archan, then they will offer to Sri Krishna a seat, or to their Ishtadev, they'll offer idamasanam, offer a seat, invite them to come, then offer padya, water to bathe their lotus feet, offer arghya, madhuparka, 16 types of ingredients according to the formalities of Vaidhi Bhakti. They serve in this way. But Ramananda Rai, in this verse, he said that when a person offers these things, then what is the reaction of Sri Krishna? The Supreme Lord is Atmaram. He is self-satisfied. He doesn't need anything. But when the devotee is so eager to render loving service, when he has prema in his heart, he's very eager to render loving service and offer these things to Krishna, then what happens? Then Krishna, he feels some hunger and he wants to accept their offering. If the offering is made without love, then the Supreme Lord, he will not be interested in accepting it. Avaktera dravya prabhu, vaktera dravya prabhu kari kari kai, avaktera dravya prabhu ulati nachai. Just like Sri Kolaveta Sridhar. Kolaveta Sridhar would sell bananas, banana leaves, banana flowers, and Mahaprabhu used to come to his stall and say, how much are these banana flowers, how much are these the leaf cups and so on? And Kolaveta Sridhar would say a very small price. Mahaprabhu would say, that's too expensive. That's an extortionate price. You should give it for less. And he would quarrel with him, and then grab it, and they would quarrel with each other, and then he would steal it from him and run away. So, earlier we heard, Yat karosi yadasnasi yad jahosi dadasiya. Krishna said, if you offer, you should offer something to me. And Krishna in Gita, he said, Padram pushpam phalam tayam yove bhakta prayachati. If you offer with love, I will accept it. But we see, Kolaveta Sridhar, his love is so high, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come there, and even he didn't offer it, he would steal it from him. So Brajagopis also, what do? They don't make a formal offering to Shri Krishna. Idam naivedyam. No. Say, Krishna, I have a very nice sweet. Would you like? Yes, here. Don't give him, take themselves. And tease him in this way. So, when the devotee is doing his services, if he does not have love, then the thirst and the hunger will not come in the heart of Shri Krishna to accept that service. And also, if Shri Krishna does not accept the service of the devotee will also not experience the ananda, the joy of serving his Lord. So in this verse, Sri Ramananda Rai said, Nano pachara krita pujanam arthabandho. Here, Shri Krishna, or the Ishtadev of the devotee, has been called Arthabandhu, the friend of the distressed. What does it mean, the friend of the distressed? It means that when the devotee has so much love, they take their offering and they put it before the Lord. They think, if my Lord will not accept this offering, my heart will break. And they feel separation from their Ishtadev. So Krishna is called Arthabandhu, the friend of the distressed. And when someone is feeling that pain, my Lord, please accept my service. When he's feeling some separation, then Shri Krishna, he becomes the friend of that person and accepts the offerings and fills their heart with the transcendental joy that is premananda of devotion. So then Ramananda Rai, he continued. He said, Krishna bhakti rasa bhavikamati kritam yadi kuto vilavyate tataloyam apimula mekalam janma koti sukritar nalavyate. He said that if bhakti rasa, transcendental bhakti rasa, is available anywhere, then one must go there and purchase that bhakti rasa without delay. What does it mean? Krishna bhakti rasa bhavikamati. Bhakti means one's consciousness. And one's consciousness should be Bhakti Rasa Bhavita, completely infused with the mellows of Krishna prema. Srila Gurudev gave an example, just like a rasagulla. A rasagulla is full of rasa. If you touch it on the top, on the bottom, on the sides, what happens? Some rasa comes out. If you squeeze it, more rasa comes out. And when you squeeze it and squeeze it, still there's more rasa inside. So when one's consciousness is completely full of the mellows of love for Sri Krishna, this is called Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati. How can one attain this level? If it is available somewhere, one should go and purchase it without delay. It is only available at the lotus feet of a pure Vaishnava. So, one may ask the question, if you need to purchase this Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati, how much does it cost? What is the price? $100, $1,000, $1 million? Tatra loyam api mulam ekalam. The only Krishna
the place of the Buddha Prabhu. And Karthaka Suklasya decided to come down, headed by Srila Maharaj. Hare Krishna, everyone, and he was and go, Hare Krishna. Those devotees who meet guides in the airport or the train station must see me tonight, this evening, at the registration tent. Right at the class, right at the tent. Also, any devotees who can volunteer as drivers, who volunteer vehicles, please also see me at the registration desk. And if you miss me tonight, after Prasad, and after the lunch Prasad, you can see me there as well.
Also, very quickly, we have one sort of emergency. Shama Priya Dasi, if you could please call home. Shama Priya Dasi from Guatemala. You can please call home.
By the way, books are running out, so get your books tonight. We may not have any tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, for the pleasure of Srila Gurudev and all of you, we present this drama.
Hare Krishna.
The pastime of Sri Gauridas Pandit. Ajanalangita bhujo kanakavadato sankirtanai kapitaro kamalaya kapsam tisham dharo vijavaro yogadharmakalam vande jagat vijavaro Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hare Nam Krishna Jadavaya Namaha Krishna Jadavaya Namaha Jadavaya Jadavaya Krishnavaya Namaha Jadavaya Jadavaya Krishnavaya Namaha
Gauridas Pandit was a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who lived near Navadvip in West Bengal. Mahaprabhu was very merciful to him by personally manifesting deities of himself and Nityananda Prabhu for Gauridas Pandit to worship. These deities were exact replicas of Gauritai themselves and had many unique pastimes.
Oh, Gauridas! Hey, Gauridas! We have spent many days here with you. But now, it is time for us to go.
Yes, we really must go now.
No! How can you leave me? Without you, you're my best friend. How can I maintain my life? I can't live without you. No, you can't go. You must stay here with me. How can we stay? There are so many devotees who want to see us. We cannot stay here forever. If you can't stay, what shall I do? All I want to do is be with you and serve you. That's my only desire. We are always with you. You know this. But you know, I want to see you directly. Talk with you and laugh with you. Interact with you in every way. No, you must stay. I won't let you go. Oh, Gauridas, look. In order to fulfill your desire, we have directly manifested into our deity form. They are us directly. So please, let us go now. We really must go. No! How can you leave? You don't understand. I want you to stay here with me. As I've always known you. Just as you are. We are not leaving you. We are here with you directly. So, no, come back. How can you just leave me like that? All right. Stay. Please stay. Don't go. Of course, don't worry. We will stay. Don't worry. Hey, let them go. Stay here with me.
Right.
I'm sure. As you wish. No, don't go. I want you to stay. You stay. Do not fear. We will stay. Don't worry. No. I changed my mind. I give up. There is no doubt. You are directly my Gauritai.
Devani Deva Gaura Chanda Gauridas Samani Nityananda Sange Gaura Ambika Devi Hare.
For many years, Gauridas Pandit very faithfully and devotedly worshipped his Gornitai deities. 1 year, just before Gaur Purnima, he had to leave for a while.
Hridayananda! Oh, Hridayananda, come here! I have to go away for a few days. I wanted to take care of my Gornitai deities while I'm gone.
Oh, this is a great honor. This is a great honor. You are very kind to entrust me with the divine safe of Gornitai. I will worship them with utmost care.
Of this there is no doubt, because you're a pure devotee of Krishna.
I must look after my Guru Maharaj's deities very nicely. Gaur Purnima is coming very soon. We should arrange a Maha Mahotsav for the pleasure of the deities. Oh, we'll have to perform Abhishek of Gornitai and cut and offer them so many delicious preparations. We'll invite all the devotees of Mahaprabhu from all the neighboring villages to come to the festival and honor Mahaprasad. I better start making all the arrangements.
Sri Dayananda began to organize a huge festival. He ordered all kinds of vegetables, fruits, grains, milk, yogurt, and ghee.
What is it? Rice you can put in the kitchen. Oh, that's ghee. Oh, it's happy to get things.
Hridayananda! What's all this? What's going on here?
Gurudev, as you know, Gaur Purnima is coming very soon. And I thought you would be happy if we arranged a big festival for Gornitai. We've invited all the Vaishnavas from all the surrounding villages. So there are many things to arrange.
You are so independent. You go ahead and arrange a big festival for Gornitai without me? Before I even got back, you made so many preparations without my permission?
Gurudev, I didn't know when you were going to come back. And I thought if we didn't start making arrangements already, then we couldn't have a proper festival.
Then you should go somewhere else and have your festival.
Yes, Gurudev.
Internally, Gauridas Pandit was very pleased with Sri Dayananda, but in order to show the glories of his disciple, he appeared to be very angry. So Sri Dayananda Prabhu made all arrangements to celebrate Gaur Purnima on the bank of the Ganges. Then on the day of Gaur Purnima, when all the Vaishnavas came, they all had an ecstatic kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna
could they be? I know. They've probably gone with Narayana and the Vaishnavas. Narayana, come here. From now on, your name will be Hridaya Chaitanya. Because Nitai Gaur are hidden in your heart. And furthermore, don't leave the curtains open for more than a few moments. Because I don't want my Nitai Gaur to be helplessly attracted to any other devotees and run away like that ever again.
Hridaya Chaitanya ki!
Very good drama play. Thakur has explained and told all these leelas. By these sweet pastimes, we should know that Sri Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Sri Govind ji, Gopinath ji, Madan Mohan ji, the deities are not only deities coming from Jaipur and anywhere, made by anyone. Oh, that actually Pratiman hai tumi Sakshat Brighendanandan. You are not deity only. like a statue. You are Brajendananda, you are Gaur Nityananda, you are Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. We should know. We should not think that deity is made from clay or sand, from stone, and anyone has made. This is our always considered. By the love and affection, they can be controlled by Bhakta. Madan Mohan Govindji used to talk with Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami and all other things. Jagannath Dev also, he showed to Prataprudra or his father that he went to South India to defeat a first king and to take his daughter for his marriage. But he was defeated. And then he came to Jagannath Dev. Oh Prabhu, you should help me. I was defeated, being your most high class of servant. Then Jagannath told that you should go and we are coming with you, and this time you will defeat that person. And really, they took Krishna Baldev 2 horses, white and red, and went further. To believe, they took curd from, yogurt from a yogurt seller, but when yogurt seller asked money for that, oh, that we have no money, oh, king is coming on, he will pay. And he gave a ring, and Jagannath was written, and it was given by that very king. So when king came, then, oh, she told that your 2 warriors on horses, white and red, has come. And they took all my yogurt. And then they could not say anything. They told that we have no money. Oh, king is coming, he will pay. So you should pay. Oh, how I will know that you have given yogurt to him? Oh, he has given me. And he saw them. So the deity is speaking with his person. They are controlled by them. Gaur Nityananda Prabhu, deity also dancing, singing and playing with them by Nityananda as it is. Gauridas Pandit. Gauridas Pandit is Paritar. By his love and affection he is controlled. So to show these, we should not think that this is idol or a statue only, but you should think the deity in your house and some Krishna and Radhika and Mahaprabhu. Don't think that a statue and stuff like Govindas Pandit. Then he will talk with you, play with you, he will do everything. For this, Vrindavan Thakur. My blessing to all that you should have Prema Bhakti like Govindas Pandit and his disciples. They are so